What is going on, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Today, I wanted to talk about challenges that we face. You know, I have this book here talking about the obstacle is the way. I don't know if you guys have seen this book before, but it's a collection of stories from the past, how people have dealt with certain challenges that they faced and how they overcame these challenges, and not just overcame it in a sense of they managed their circumstances, but they found a solution that benefited a lot of people. So let's get into it, right? So life can be challenging at times. It can push us to our limits. We are not alone in this. So you don't have to feel like this is something that you alone are experiencing. It's something that we are all experiencing in our lives. So in the past, life was hard. I mean, life was harder. It is still hard. But life has become easier for us in this generation in a lot of ways compared to the previous generations. Earlier generations faced worse problems with fewer safety nets and fewer tools to solve their problems. Those of previous generation faced the same problems that we face today, but they suffered from more challenges. A lot of them were persecuted. A lot of them were thrown into prison. We have examples of Mandela thrown into prison for their beliefs and their rights. They faced sicknesses that we have a cure for now, but they didn't have a cure for back then, right? So how did the earlier generation not just manage with their challenges, but they overcame these obstacles and found a way to create a solution that today we are still benefiting from? Page 3 of this book gives us a glimpse as to how they did this. I'm going to read from this book. So page 3 says, subjected to those pressures, these individuals were transformed. They were transformed along the lines that Andy Grove, former CEO of Intel, outlined when he described what happens to businesses in tumultuous times. Bad companies are destroyed by crisis. Good companies survive them. Great companies are improved by them. Those are powerful words. And, just like these great companies, great individuals also find a way to transform their weaknesses into strength. To accomplish this depends on our attitude, our perception. Part 1 of this book talks about our perception. So I'm going to go into it here. Talking about perception, it says that it is how we see and understand what occurs around us and what we decide those events will mean. Our perception can be a source of strength or of great weakness. Our perception can be a source of strength or of great weakness. If we are emotional, subjective, and short-sighted, we only add to our troubles. Man, how true these words really are. It takes discipline to separate our deceptive this perception from reliable ones. It takes discipline and hard work. This is something that requires practice, right? To illustrate this, imagine you wear glasses due to poor eyesight. When you put on your glasses, you see better. All the objects are clear, and you can see where you're going perfectly. But what about if you had a smudge on your glasses? Man, remember the COVID times when we had to wear the mask? Wearing sunglasses around those times was a pain, so annoying, because when you're wearing the mask, it fogs up your glasses, and you can't see anything. Similarly, our perception is the same, right? When you have good perception, you can determine things in a reasonable way. You are grounded in your beliefs, and you deal with things with insight, right? But sometimes our perception might not work the way that it's supposed to work, just like our glasses get fogged up. So we got to clean up our glasses so that we can regain that clearer vision that we want. So it's the same for our perception. We got to make adjustments to our perception in order to have a clear view of truth and of reality. We can discipline our perception by doing these things stated here in this book. I'm going to go to I'm going to go to page 18, and it talks about how we can basically manage our perception. So it lists a few things here that will help us to do this. We have to be objective. We have to control our emotions, and to keep an even keel, keep a level-headed view of things. Keep you cool, man. To choose to see the good in a situation, even when bad things are happening to us, we can choose how we react to these things. To steady our nerves, to ignore what disturbs or limits others. Basically, don't focus on the mistakes of others, right? Because sometimes that serves as a distraction for us. When we, instead of working on ourselves, we start putting all the emphasis on someone else's mistakes. It serves as a distraction. Focus on you, not them. All right? To place things in perspective. Pretty self-explanatory. To revert to the present moment. So, when we get into an anxious state of mind, we have to rationalize our thoughts and bring ourselves back to the moment. To focus on what can be controlled. Don't focus on what cannot be controlled. Focus on what you can control, what you have control of. So this is a powerful note here on how we can basically manage our perception, so we get the best results out of the way that we process things, process situation. All right, so let's go on to the next chapter, entitled Recognize Your Power. So this is a story of Rubin Hurricane Carter, who was a top contender for the middleweight title. At the height of his boxing career, in the mid 1960s, he was wrongly accused of a horrific crime he did not commit. And for this, he was sentenced to 3 life sentences. 3 life sentences for triple homicide. It was a dizzying, let me take that again. It was a dizzying fall from the heights of success and fame. Carter reported to prison in an expensive tailored suit, wearing a 5,000 diamond ring and a gold watch. And so, waiting in line to be entered into the general inmate population, he asked to speak to someone in charge. Looking at the warden in the eye, Carter proceeded to inform him and the guards that he was not giving up the last thing he controlled, which was himself. In this remarkable declaration, he told them, "I know you have nothing to do with the injustice that brought me to this jail, so I'm willing to stay here until I get out. But I will not, under any circumstances, be treated like a prisoner, because I am not and never will be powerless." This guy was determined. So Carter declined to surrender the freedoms that were innately his. His attitude, his beliefs, his choices. All of this had a purpose. Every second of his energy was to be spent on his legal case. Every waking minute was spent reading law books, philosophy, and history. But it took time for him to get what he was looking for. It took 19 years and 2 trials to overturn that verdict. But when Carter walked out of prison, he simply resumed his life. He didn't want anything from the people that have put him in prison, not even an apology. He didn't sue or anything. He had made his choice. This can't harm me. I might not have wanted this to happen, but I decide how it will affect me. No one else has that right. Man, I like this book. You know, you got to turn obstacles into the path, or you got to be able to find a path through your obstacles, right? So obstacles are obstacles when we let them be obstacles. We have to decide, is that obstacle going to break me or refine me? Am I willing to allow this pressure to transform me into a better version of myself? We always have the power. We have the power to choose what our reaction and what our reality will be. So when life challenges you, accept that challenge and find a new and improved path for yourself. Hey, I'm about to make like a baby and head out. But before I do, don't forget to give this video a like, thumbs up, and subscribe to the channel. Until next time, peace.